Hey friends, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast with your hosts, Kristen,
Nicole,
and Hannah. Come join our porch swing conversations.
filled with lots of faith, hope, and heart.
Hey Hearties, we are back with our recap of the season 9 premiere of When Calls the Heart In Like a Lion.
In this episode, changes in the air for Hope Valley. There's the foundry to be built and the upcoming mayoral election. Elizabeth arrives home from a trip to Hamilton, and a potential investor arrives in town to discuss the oil business with Lucas.
That's a great synopsis for the season premiere.
Yeah, a lot happening in Hope Valley.
Yep.
A lot of catching up to do.
Oh, yes.
Before we get started on our recap, I just wanted to mention the new intro. What did y'all think about the new intro?
Oh, I loved it. We got new credits, new clips for the credits. I love them. What did you think?
I loved it too. It was beautiful.
I love that it was very fresh and that they were all new clips from this season. So then it gives you a little taste of what's to come. And then you're a little bit curious about what's going on in those scenes. So I really liked that. I also liked how they included Joseph and Faith in the thing. I can't remember exactly. I feel like at least one of them might have been in the intro last season. I can't remember though. But I like that little addition there. That was nice.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we start off, Elizabeth is coming back from Hamilton. She's been there for a month.
Yes.
So hopefully, maybe we'll find out what she was doing there, why exactly she was there, other than, visiting with little Jack. Did you guys notice that she only had one suitcase?
Yeah.
Little Jack for 1 month?
Yeah.
It's like tiny. I mean, I know maybe Ben's suitcases were, a lot smaller, but it was very tiny.
Yeah. And when you're traveling with a little kid like that, you're going to need more than one suitcase.
Yeah, that was a little surprising, but I did like how the episode kind of started off where Elizabeth was, reading her journal. And she was reading in her journal, and how she caught us up on, some of what the townspeople were doing. So we saw a little bit of clips in there, what they had been up to. I like that. I was very curious by that when that stagecoach pulled up. It was very modern looking. Interesting.
Yeah, very nice. Do you guys think that Lucas had that arranged for Mr. Smith to come in? Because he knew Mr. Smith was arriving. He didn't exactly know that, Elizabeth and Jack were going to be there.
It's possible.
Right. Or it's just maybe just a new modern theme that Hope Valley has pitched into.
It could be Mr. Smith too, because I'm assuming he's pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
So that could have been something, he paid to have because he wanted to have, nice transportation to Hope Valley. Who knows? I definitely found it interesting though that Lucas didn't know that Elizabeth and little Jack were getting back.
Yeah.
And then what happens, he's there. He just so happens to be there, but he's meeting, somebody else. And then she's like, "Oh, Elizabeth, you're back!" I thought that was an interesting storyline.
Yeah. And we get little Jack. We have a new little Jack.
Yes, Highland Goodwin.
Little Jack anymore because he's getting so big.
Yes,
he's so talkative, and I love that.
Yeah, he's so cute. His little laugh.
I know. So
sweet.
Yeah, that was a sweet scene with Lucas offering his hand to Elizabeth as she got out of the stagecoach. And then, he addresses little Jack and he's like, "Hey, buddy." And then little Jack's like, "Hey, buddy."
Hey, buddy. Yeah. I know. I was just going to say that. That was so cute. I love that.
That was so cute.
Also, the comment about sticky hands and little Jack wanting to share his taffy with Mr. Smith.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, they did a good job making us feel like Mr. Smith was not going to be an issue. Like he just seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right. They definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course, the kiss between Lucas and Elizabeth. I have to admit, that was pretty sweet.
Very sweet.
It was cute.
Yes.
I did like too how in that scene, how, Lucas was just going to go back to work. At first I was like, "What are you doing, buddy? Like she just got home after a month. Why are you going to go do your business?" And then he changed his mind. "No, you know what? I'm going to walk you home." I loved it. Showed a lot of growth from Luke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about them swinging little Jack on their way home?
That was cute.
That was cute.
That was so
That was really
Swing.
Yeah. And we get to see the balloon coming in,
Yes.
which we've
Yes.
all kind of been waiting for. We kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah.
We just didn't know the context behind it. And honestly,
Right.
the way that the guy was describing it, it kind of sounds scary to me. Like you don't exactly know where you're going to go, and you just have to have
Right.
someone like follow you. I don't know. I
Right.
don't like that. Of course, I'm afraid
Yeah.
of heights anyways. So this whole thing just sounded terrifying to me.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly selling it there.
Yeah.
The way he described it.
Mhm.
I definitely thought his entrance was really interesting too. Like it was just interesting how like at the beginning of the episode they just kind of dropped that in there. And I thought it was interesting. Like I thought this was something that was like planned. Like from the previews, it looked like this was something that maybe like Lucas brought in,
Mhm.
like for fun to do something for the town and for Elizabeth. But then it was very interesting that it just so happened that, you know, this guy was floating, like just seeing where, you know, he would land, and he just floated to Hill Valley. I thought that was
Yes.
really interesting. Definitely
Yeah.
an interesting way to start the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. I loved when the hot air balloon like first arrives and everyone, you know, sees it. Cooper is the first one that sees it, and then everyone starts waving. Nathan's awkward wave, that made me laugh. Or like he
No.
waved and then he looked at his glove.
That
He
was
like, what am
classic.
I
I loved
doing?
it.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
And then little Jack's like, balloon.
Balloon.
Yeah.
Rosemary is writing a human interest piece about the balloonist, which is another thing we hear at the beginning of the episode. I love her conversation with Lee about, you know, her writing the article. And she says, the stories he has are so exciting, so daring, floating like a candy floss cloud high into the heavens. And then Lee's like, sweetheart. And then, you know, Rosemary cuts them off and she says, did you know Mr. Winkler can't actually navigate the balloon? He just drifts wherever the four winds take him and then sells rides to anyone who's interested. That's how he ended up here. It was serendipity.
All dramatic Rosemary.
I know. She has my heart. I love her so much.
Yes.
She just has so much, you know, just so much humor, and just I just love it. She's just so unique, and I just love her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Elizabeth's students seeing Rosemary in the balloon. I thought that was a cute moment when Rosemary is in the hot air balloon and, you know, she's looking down at everyone and she says, you all look like tiny ants.
Yeah, I know.
And then Opal says, what if Mrs. Coulter floats away?
Oh my goodness. So great.
I also loved the moment with Rosemary. I can't remember. I think this was towards the beginning when Lee is walking away. I think this is the same scene that we were just talking about, when Lee walks away and Rosemary flips open her notebook and she's like, oh, Lee, I found the note I wrote.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Typical Rosemary to leave it in her notebook. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that scene, another little conversation we get with them. It's about the mayoral election, which Rosemary is covering.
Mhm.
And Lee wants her to reconsider stumping with him. And Rosemary says, I've given this some thought, and while I know you're going to make a wonderful mayor once elected, as the Valley Voice editor-in-chief, and then Lee chimes in and he says, and my wife, don't forget. Rosemary says, yes, but I need to remain impartial. You do have my vote and my love forever. Whose side were y'all on? Like, did y'all want Rosemary to stomp for Lee, or did you think that she did the right thing by not?
By remaining impartial. I think
Yeah.
that's part of, I mean, I think what she responded to him was perfect. Like, of course,
Yeah.
she supports him and she's going to vote for him. But as being an editor-in-chief, it's her job to be impartial. And as we
Yeah.
know nowadays with the media, it's hard that it's rare to see that. It's rare to see people not having an agenda or, you know, being biased about things. And so I really liked her response to him about
Yeah,
that.
definitely. I especially feel like maybe the Rosemary of like several seasons ago may have done it. I feel like she might have, not quite been at that point of growth to realize that, it's probably not the right thing to do. So I definitely appreciate that she, said that, and she was like, no, like this wouldn't be right, but I'm always on your side. So yeah. I definitely like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I agree with y'all. I think she did the right thing. I love the conversation between Elizabeth and Rosemary outside the school. This is Rosemary's first time seeing Elizabeth since she got back. She's asking if she's seen Lucas, and Elizabeth shakes her head yes, that she's seen Lucas. And then I think Elizabeth starts asking how her and Lee are. And then
Rosemary just wants to talk about herself.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and Lee. Did you guys think it's interesting that this is the first time that she's talked to Rosemary since she's been home? I'm assuming it's the very next day.
Yeah, you're right. It is the next day, which is also something that was a little confusing to me when I first watched it. Like, we got the beginning, and then, the credits rolled, or the new theme song rolled. And then we see, like, obviously, like, we haven't talked about this yet, but when Lucas comes to Elizabeth's house, which we can get to in a minute, it like flips that, and all of a sudden it's like the next day. I was like, interesting. That was like a fast day. That just I did forget to mention, I loved at the beginning how they were coming out of a church service.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they did that right off the bat. Like, I wish we would have seen a little bit more of that, but I love that just like everybody was coming out of the church, and I think it was Lee and Rosemary who were talking to Joseph and Minnie.
Yeah,
I love that at the beginning.
Same, me too. I wish we just saw a little bit inside, but I'm sure that we will. I'm sure that we'll see a church service soon. I hope so, at least.
More to come. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that morning you had mentioned Lucas delivering the Valley Voice to Elizabeth at home, which was, of course, loved being able to see, Lucas enter her home for the first time, that we've seen it.
You're right.
Which was great. And of course, they have another kiss, the second kiss already of the episode.
They're in a min already. I loved that moment where Lucas was tinkering with Elizabeth's clock.
Yeah, do you guys think that's like, was that foreshadowing something, or did I just miss it? Is he just in business mode? Like, is he just in?
Well, I feel like over the season since Lucas has been there's always been like this joke about Lucas and time. And
okay.
So I think that was a little callback to those things that have been over the season, him checking his watch, all these things.
Okay.
And so I just thought it was funny that they put that in there, but just like no, Elizabeth, this is wrong. And like, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense then. Cause I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? What is up with him looking at the clock like that? But that's good.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. They make a dinner date. Right? Or just the both of them to go out for dinner, which of course we'll get to that later. But then I love whenever he leaves, he gives her a little like boop kiss on the nose.
That was cute.
I thought that was so adorable.
That was cute.
So cute. Oh, we find out about Jesse and Clara.
Yep. They've moved to a homestead in Montana. They have a goat, 6 chickens, a dog, and 75 acres.
Guys, I need to see this. I need to see Clara with them goats and chickens and chasing them around.
Oh, yes.
That would be amazing. But that's so good, like, to know that they're happy and they seem, busy. And it would be great if we could hear from them, throughout the season. Maybe like once or twice we get, Bill sharing, like,
that would be nice.
Oh, this is what they're up to.
Yeah, that would be nice. I hope so.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that the Canfields were eating breakfast in the cafe and not at their house? Do you think that would
say that?
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is maybe Minnie just wanted to get a head start on like cafe stuff. Like maybe she was already there, like, making bread or like preparing for the day. And so they all just kind of went along, and that way they could have breakfast together.
That's what I think that would make sense.
Yeah. Oh, we see that Faith is now a doctor.
Doctor.
She's got her own little sign at the infirmary.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny how the sign, she kept like trying to fix it and then it would just fall.
Yeah, falling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. And Molly is there to help her. It's good to know that Molly's
Yes.
still going to be with her, helping her out.
Yeah. I love that short exchange between them. I think it's the second time. So the first time we see Faith trying to fix the sign, it's in the beginning of the episode when Elizabeth is doing her journal entry. And then the second time, she walks to the infirmary. Faith does. And she sees that the sign has fallen down again.
Yeah.
And kind of gives a frustrated sigh. And Molly comes up and, they start talking. And I love the words of advice or encouragement that Molly gives to Faith. She says, "You've run this infirmary before and you'll run it again."
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I also love in how these scenes with Faith and Molly, how they brought Carson up.
Yeah.
Like, not like they're just forgetting about him. They're already talking about him. It's obvious that Faith's kind of, maybe still missing him a little bit, but she doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I like how they brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, the conversation that she has with Molly and Fiona, when they're asking about Carson. And I think Faith says something about how, he's really busy and he just hasn't had time to call or something. And Faith says that they weren't meant to be and that she's fine. I wrote, she totally is still thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely, she is. How could she not? I mean, they've been together for a while, and they were basically on the pathway to being engaged.
Yeah.
It's like, how can they have to know that she's heartbroken? But she's trying to move forward, of course, and put her career.
Right.
I feel for her, but it'll be fun to see her push through, and now she's the doctor. She's the official doctor of Hope Valley. So
exciting.
Definitely. Yeah. I love the scene. This is also kind of after the whole air balloon scene where we saw it in the previews, but where Bill and Nathan ride up on the horse. They have the horse conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a funny conversation. I love how Bill keeps picking at Nathan about that mustache.
Yes.
So love it.
And
Bill,
this little thing here.
Yeah, Bill, I think you're most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, "Would you consider giving up that mustache, maybe, and that little thing here?" And I said, referring to the soul patch.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Less likely." I was like, "Less likely? Like, you'd rather give up your horse? What?"
Yeah. He's also like, "I'm not giving up my horse."
Yeah.
That was
good.
That was a cute little scene. I'm sad that Allie wasn't in this episode, but I'm glad that they addressed it right off the bat, and it was really sweet. Allie's at her grandparents.
Yeah. So, does that mean that Nathan's parents are back together? I mean, are we just assuming?
That's
that's good. That's cool.
Yeah, he said grandparents, so. Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Archie since season 7. We haven't heard about him since season 7. But when he left, he was kind of on, he was on the path to, rebuilding his life, being better. So yeah, I mean, that was really nice to hear. It was sweet to hear too how, Nathan had just dropped him off. And now he already wants to go back and see her because he misses her.
Yes, I know. That was sweet.
I was like, oh.
Such a dad.
Yeah.
Yes. That was very sweet. And then I liked how they saw Henry ride into town.
Yeah.
Which then leads me to the scene later when, which we were just talking about, when Faith's trying to fix the sign and she throws the hammer. And then Henry walks up. He can't get his door open and just walks right up to Faith and just takes the hammer, walks right to the door and just jams it in there and opens it. I was like, okay. Like,
I know. He is a man on a mission with that hammer.
Oh, yeah.
I love when Henry walks up to Faith and Molly. He gets the hammer and he says, "Doctor, Molly."
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. At least they acknowledged them and called Faith doctor, which was nice because he read the sign, so he was like, oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he said something like nice sign or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Henry's back in town.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear about where he went. I mean, I think we all have an idea, but I want to hear.
I know.
Actually,
I think they're making us wait on purpose. I think they did that on purpose.
I think so.
Because we're all pretty curious.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, going back to Rosemary kind of reliving her glory days as an actress.
Yeah.
And she's talking with Lee, and she is telling him about how being the editor-in-chief is, going to be more fulfilling, which is good. I'm glad that we can see that because we all want, her to be happy. Mm-hmm. But it kind of, I don't know if you guys maybe got the vibe too, that there's maybe going to be some issue there with how busy they both are with their marriage. Mm-hmm. I don't know if maybe since they're not, it doesn't look like they're spending a whole lot of time together. Like, I just wonder if that will be addressed.
Right. I mean, and we saw like a little sneak peek from like mid-season of that and how there seems to be some conflict going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I definitely think this is leading to that.
Yes.
Definitely.
Is this scene the one where they're in his office? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
When he comes in, all dirty. Yeah.
Which is something else that I don't understand as well. So he's going off campaigning, right? I'm assuming that means that he's driving to maybe like the residents who live further out from town.
Yeah.
But then his car breaks down and he takes a shortcut and he gets lost.
Yeah, I wrote the line from Rosemary. She says, wrong campaign trail.
That was funny. I love that.
Yeah, she's trying to make it funny in the moment, which is good. And I can appreciate that. But it reminded me of like last season when Rachel got lost. And I was just like, is that just a running theme in this family? Do they just get lost easily?
Right. It also reminded me of when Jesse got lost and Lee had to go out and find him.
Yes. It's like, how big is this area that they were living in? Like,
no, I don't know. You would think they would learn by now.
Oh, goodness.
I also love with Rosemary and Lee that we kind of hopefully tied up the whole theater story.
Oh, yeah.
They brought that up, which I was actually shocked that they did.
Yeah, well, first with the musicals when Rosemary and Elizabeth were talking and Rosemary kept talking about musicals.
Yeah.
And then later in the office when she's talking to Lee and he's like, I know I never built you your theater and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think in her heart, obviously, Rosemary's always going to be an actress. She's always going to have that as part of her. But I think, she's definitely kind of moved on. From that too.
Yeah, I love her line to Elizabeth about the musicals. She says fun while not on stage. I think she was referring to being the editor of the Valley Voice. And then she goes on to say, the Bohemian Girl, the Belle of Bohemia, the Belle of Bridgeport, the Belle of Broadway, and the Liberty Bells, although that was a revival, so I don't know if that really counts.
Elizabeth is just trying to follow along. She's just like, okay.
Okay.
And then that one line from her when she's like, hoity-toity.
Typical Rosemary.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta keep it light. Funny.
Oh, goodness.
I do love the conversations in the office too. Just where we've seen it in the trailer, but where Lee's just like, "You love me," and that was such a cute little moment there.
Yeah. We get a little bit more info about this Jerome Smith guy.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, he used to work with Henry back when it was Coal Valley. There's bad blood.
I don't know about you guys, but when I heard that, I was like, what?
I know.
I like a big jaw drop. I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
And on top of that, Fiona knew but didn't tell Lucas, and Mike had no idea. I'm so used to calling him Hickam.
It's interchangeable.
Right?
It's right. It's Henry, and then it's just Gowan, and then it's Mike, and then it's just Hickam.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my.
she didn't tell Hickam. She, we finally hear her telling Lucas about it. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, we learn later on that her intentions were good, but
Yeah.
What? I mean, I just heard, I was like, Fiona, why?
yeah,
Like, but you do have to keep in mind that, Fiona wasn't there when the whole, mind stuff happened. She probably has no idea about that. I mean, sure, she's heard little bits and pieces there, but she
right,
probably doesn't know, like
right,
about the involvement that Henry had.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
I mean, I'm assuming that she just heard that there was like bad blood between them and maybe thought that they could work it out. I don't know why she felt inclined to
yeah,
put him there.
yes,
But I was very shocked when I heard that Fiona knew, and I was just like, wait, what?
I know,
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, Fiona,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say though, before I forget, I loved Fiona's pants.
I was about to say that. Me too.
Yeah.
I was
She
like,
looks so cute.
I know, she's
Yeah.
adorable. I was like, you rock those pants, girl. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I loved the outfit she had on.
Yeah. I did also like how Hickam was like, Fiona, why didn't you tell me? Like he was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you should have told me. But like, I thought that was like a cute scene between them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, did you want to share your theory or thought that you had? You had mentioned something about a letter that Henry had sent
Yes,
to
I think
Ryan.
it originated maybe on Facebook. And then it kind of circled around social media. But back in, is it season 6? Probably should have double checked. I think it's season 6 when we get the letter, the note that is found in Gowan's office, I believe. And it says, Dear Henry, after careful review, we feel your concerns regarding any safety issues are unwarranted. Please consider this matter closed. Best, and it says J. Smith. It's signed J. Smith, the manager of the Pacific Northern Mining Company. So this has to be the same man, right?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So this
And
is the plot thickens. This is going to lead to some major epic things happening, I think.
Right. Fiona, what have you done?
Yes, she just opened up that can of worms.
Oh, yes. I mean, you see a little bit of what's to come, too, in the saloon.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that really caught me off guard. Because he approaches Henry and he's like, come over here with us. Like, let's talk. Like, make your case. Like, why don't you like this guy? We need to know, which I think is admirable of Lucas to say, like, if there's anything bad about this guy, I need to know about it.
No, definitely.
And so next thing we see, of course, we'll get to Nathan and May Sue, which I was so disappointed that we didn't get more out of that scene.
I know.
But, yeah. But we hear a punch. We see Gowan going after him. I mean, he looks like a wild man going after him, punching him. Oh my goodness, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh man, that does give me a little bit of like, I got like a little bit of a flashback to season 6 when Nathan's entrance and how Jesse punched him.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that, like completely different scenario.
Right.
But
yeah.
Oh my goodness, what is up with these punches in the saloon?
I know, and I hate that he, of course, Jerome presses charges against Henry, and so Nathan has to bring him into jail, and heartbreaks for him.
Yeah.
Poor Henry, nothing ever goes right for him.
I know.
No.
Yeah, this is definitely not, this is just the beginning of this story. This is not the end yet. But then we get that great scene of him and Minnie in the jail when she brings him breakfast.
And offers to say grace.
Yes, and the way that he looks at her, Martin Cummings, I mean, you guys, I have a soft spot in my heart for him. I think that he's an incredible actor. Yeah. He doesn't even have to say anything. Just his facial expressions alone, like, I just feel for the guy. He's so good. And so I really loved that moment between him and Minnie.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that.
Maybe we'll see Joseph talking to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Many did say that Joseph should chat with him.
So.
Yeah, I have to say that Minnie doing that gave me major Abigail vibes.
Yes, agree. Which, speaking of, Minnie is thinking about buying into the cafe, which is so exciting.
No, it would definitely be interesting to see, Bill give that up, but he's so busy. He's so busy. Like, I think it's time that he, passes it down to somebody else. Abigail's not here anymore. And I think it would be really fulfilling for Minnie. Like, obviously you can tell that like she gets a lot of fulfillment from it and she really loves it. Like she's an integral part of the community, giving food to people. It's also a way she can serve. With Henry, she's using that as like a serving opportunity too, not just giving him food, but she's taking the opportunity to chat with him and pray with him. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I could see this being a really good ministry opportunity for her.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We got to get to this. Nathan asking Elizabeth, first of all, asking if she thinks that Lucas would teach him how to drive, which personally, I think that's very big of him. This is very in character of Nathan to be humble and mature to be able to ask Elizabeth. But then she brings up the fact that she could teach him, which I think is great that they're both trying to get this, friendship back, to restore it a little bit more. But who had any idea that Elizabeth knew how to drive?
I know.
We had all those scenes in like season 2 with like, Julie driving. Never once did we hear that Elizabeth knew how to drive. Since when, girl, do you know how to drive?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Because we certainly haven't seen it over the last 9 years. So I'm with Nathan. I would probably be like, I don't know if I
don't know about this. I have a stellar driving record. Yeah, girl, but you never drive.
Exactly. The 5 times you've probably driven in your life.
She drives off camera. We don't see.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my. No, that was an interesting scene. I definitely appreciate the fact that, they both went up to each other and, they were smiling and they were trying to, have a conversation. I definitely like that that they're starting to, kind of find their way in a friendship, which I like. Definitely surprising though that Elizabeth would offer to teach him how to drive. Personally, I would love to see that. I don't think it's gonna happen, especially now.
Yes, yeah.
But I would definitely think that would be a very humorous thing. And I do think it was very big of Nathan to ask Elizabeth, like, do you think Lucas would be like willing to teach me how to drive? Yeah. Although I always wanted Lee to be the one to teach.
Yeah.
We had a conversation in season 7. We never saw anything about that. Like, I would love to see Lee and Nathan become better friends, but who knows?
We'll see. So many friendships we would love to just see. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any theories about why Cooper keeps getting in trouble? Other than normal, adolescence, hormones, boys will be boys attitude.
I definitely think it probably has something to do with Angela, just because, like, with Angela's disability, she has a lot, her parents have to spend a lot of time, focusing on her. And I think, when you have a sibling of someone who's disabled, who has special needs, you definitely feel that. You definitely, experience that little bit of like, you feel like, but what about me? It's like, because there's so much focus on, that individual. So I definitely think it's a mixture of, him growing up and also just feeling like, well, there's me too, and he wants attention.
Yes.
So he's acting up to get it.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, especially since Minnie was substituting while Elizabeth was gone. And so now he's seeing his mom give attention to his schoolmates and less time with him.
Right.
She's working more in the cafe, less time with him. And so, I completely agree. I think that he's trying to get the attention he needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did think it, like, the timing was great when, like, after, like, Nathan walks away, Elizabeth sees that Cooper's about to, do the slingshot to the air balloon. She's like, Cooper can feel. Just in time. Like, I don't think it would have actually hit it, but like that's still gonna, flew and hit somebody else.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I know. Her eye roll as she walks away. She's like,
"Oh boy."
Yeah.
definitely is sad to see Cooper this way because he was such a sweet, like innocent child in season 8, and now like he's definitely grown and he's like bigger and he's getting into these things. I'm just like, oh my goodness, Cooper.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Do we want to talk about the epic arrival of our newcomer, May Sue? First of all, I have to say, I absolutely loved Nathan talking to Newton as he was writing.
Yep.
And he says, what does he say? Something about, them both being in the car.
Yeah.
Y'all, I need fan art. I need someone to draw Nathan in the car. I need that. That would be so great.
Because Nathan is never gonna get rid of his horse.
No.
His horse comes everywhere with him. So if it means getting in a car, he's gonna find a way to get Newton in there as well.
That might be a little hard, Nathan.
Yeah.
Team Nathan.
Team Newton, yes, for the win.
Oh, but we get this mysterious rider coming into town, which we of course know is May Sue.
Right, and not just riding, galloping.
Yes. Coming in.
Yeah. She almost runs Nathan over.
If you wouldn't know that it was her, you would think it was a bandit.
Totally.
I think when the preview first came out, like that's what I thought. But then, we
knew before the
premiere that.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if that is Amanda Wong in disguise, or if maybe that's a stunt.
I don't know.
If she was galloping, I'm sure it was probably a stunt. Maybe like when they showed like a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Up you, but I don't think it would allow her to gallop like that, even though she's a good rider.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course we see her go behind the row houses, and little Jack is staring at her.
So I was not expecting that.
I know, me either. I love the way they shot that.
I know.
Yeah. That was so interesting.
It was.
Yeah, his facial expressions were so cute. He was just like watching her get off the horse, take off her coat, and then I guess she had pants on, so then I guess she unbuttoned the things on her skirt.
Yeah, that was so cute. Them both shushing at each other.
Like, that was so cute.
Love that. Why was Jerome and Hickam and Fiona and Lucas outside of the row houses talking business?
I was wondering the same.
I didn't think that. Yeah, why there?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know. It's like, is that the only place that's like quiet, or because no one's home? I don't know. I thought that was really weird that they were all
I don't
there.
even think they noticed like May.
Right,
in their own little world. They didn't even notice that May and Nathan were right there. Like
Yeah.
I did love I love how she rides up like just slowly and just like gives Nathan a look, just like, hi, Constable.
Like Constable. And he's like, yes.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, she just like Constable, but that was funny.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we get the scenes in the saloon where Hickam is showing his not wanted poster with the mustache.
I love the behind the scenes of that, where like different, like the cast members were posting like pictures of them
doing it.
Mustache. That was so funny.
So good. That was perfect. Do you guys have any theories of who could be doing it?
No.
I think it's got to be one of the kids, right?
Probably. I can see one of the kids doing it.
I was just thinking about that, and I'm wondering if it was Cooper.
Yeah.
It could be.
I don't know why he would do that.
Unless the other boy
that
could
part,
be dared
I'm
in.
not. Yeah, I don't know why he would do that, but if it was one of the kids, and he's acting up, it would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's probably more likely that it's someone who, I don't know, doesn't want Hickam to be mayor, but I don't know who would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I love Faith's question to Hickam. She says, have you thought about growing a mustache? And then Molly says, like Nathan. And then Fiona's
like, no.
Not like Nathan.
I thought that was just funny. because Kevin and Kayla, I just thought that was
Right.
funny. It's funny she's the one to say that. I was like,
yes, I loved that. That was a perfect little button to that scene.
oh yes.
Yeah, she's like, not like Nathan.
No.
Did you guys notice that Fiona's conversation with Hickam? I didn't catch this the first time around, but she mentions that she dropped out of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did.
I missed it the first time during live tweeting, but
yeah, same. Yeah, so I was kind of confused by that at first. I was like, oh, I missed that. Okay, well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if she dropped, one of the reasons she dropped it is because of Hickam.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Like, sure, if she just decided that, you know what, I'm not going to run against him, you know, I'm going to let him have this shot. But also, she's a busy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. With the old business and I about to say barbecue, the barber shop.
Well, you know, it was kind of a barbecue last season with Molly's hair, but that wasn't Fiona.
That's perfect.
Fiona. Thanks for saying barbecue, Kristen.
You're welcome. No problem.
I saved it for you.
Oh my gosh. I do have a theory that, of course, I didn't catch on the first time. So this took me my rewatch. The Hickam says that he was campaigning on fire safety. And we know that we're going to get a fire in the saloon soon. Well, maybe not soon, probably at the very end of the series or the season. But I that has to be foreshadowing, right?
Yeah.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Good point.
Yeah.
Which I'm also wondering too. Okay, so if Hickam was campaigning about fire safety and then there's a fire, and obviously, you know, he would, you know, have the knowledge that he needs to, you know, how to help that situation. I'm wondering if that's just going to help him with the race.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on when the fire actually happens, because we know we're going to find out pretty soon who it is. So, I mean,
yeah, possible. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay, so we have to get to the moment where in the saloon where Nathan and May talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the first time, actually, like me, and like introduce themselves.
Yes.
Before that, you know, Hickam. I thought it was funny that Nathan was there when Hickam's like talking about the poster, and he's like, "Look what they did to my poster," and Nathan's just kind of sitting there, like just like watching, and then all of a sudden he like looks behind, and
oh yeah,
at the perfect time, as you know, May's coming down the stairs.
Yes.
You know, I kind of wish we didn't see that whole scene.
Oh,
before
really?
this. I kind of wish we hadn't seen that in the trailers to begin with, because there wasn't anything after that. Like I thought, you know, I was waiting like this whole time. Like when I was watching it, I was like, okay, it's not gonna cut. Like we get to see what happens, and then the fight happens.
I know.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I totally agree. I was so hoping for more after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they did it on purpose to make us want more.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do we want to talk about Maysu?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I am so confused by this whole story. I do not know where they're going to go with this.
I am too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. What I can make from it is that she did an apprenticeship under Jeffrey, which is where she met Faith.
Right.
And so does Faith was also led to believe that May was this Jeffrey guy's wife? That's what she knew her as well?
That's what it sounds like. But like, here's the thing. Like, I don't know. May, every time they kind of brought up the fact that he might be her husband, she kind of like dodged the question, almost like, I don't know. I didn't really get vibes that he is her husband. Like, I don't know. Maybe he is. If he is, I think it's some sort of situation where she's running from him because maybe, you know, he did something and he's not, you know, the best husband.
Yes.
Either that, or I get the impression that maybe like that's kind of a cover for something. Maybe he's helped her out. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's more to it, and I don't think I think they want us to think that maybe she's a husband, but I kind of think it might be something else. I'm hoping it's something else. I'm hoping she's not married. I'm really hoping she's not married.
Yeah. If anything, hopefully they are, separated on the way to divorce. I don't, because she tells Faith that she wants to, start a new life. She wants to make a new life. And so I agree with you. I think that there's something going on with Jeffrey, which I found out we're going to meet him this season.
Yes, we are.
So
and I read that he comes in episode 7 or 8, so we still have quite a few episodes to go. I'm like, man, like we have to wait that long.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested to see where this story is going to go, but I definitely wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting too, like when she like comes up to the Yo store and knocks on their door, and Ned doesn't know who she is, and she's like, I'm here in Mr. Jeffrey's stead. And he's like, wait, what? Like that whole storyline was very interesting to me. Like, okay, like so apparently Faith set it up that investor or somebody on the pharmacy, which is very interesting. Like I'm wondering like when this whole thing took place.
Right. Yeah.
I
definitely don't think that she's bad. I think that if anything, this Jeffrey Lewis guy is going to be the bad guy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the new pharmacy in Soda Fountain?
I love it. I love this idea. Yes.
I know. And it's about time that Hope Valley, got something like that. I think they've had like a pharmacy sign up for many seasons now, but there was never, any there. So that's pretty cool. I think it's cute that, Ned and Florence, are the ones who started it.
Yeah.
And that whole scene with them is just so cute. Like, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was so adorable. I loved their little matching outfits. Singing and dancing. So great.
I know. When they first walked into the saloon and like they were talking about, Ned was like, I didn't know you could dance. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this leading up to? I was like, what's the point of the conversation?
Yeah. Did you guys notice when they were doing their little performance, Rosemary's in the background and she's kind of like doing her own little thing too?
Oh, was she? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she's just kind of like going along with it. So cute. It's like, yes.
It was cute. Yeah. Ned did pretty good.
He did. Is this their singing voices? Because if so, what is up with this cast being able to sing? Like they're all musicians.
I know. They are musical. Like, I know. Where's our musical episode? They've been teasing this for many years now. Where is it? We need it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I loved when they, after they did their little number and they, obviously unveiled what the pharmacy and Soda Fountain was going to be. I love how they were all, about to go in to get ice cream.
And Lee
walking, so for you. Rose was like, for you. Oh my gosh.
I know, poor Lee. Let him have some ice cream.
Oh, I know, right? I was like, come on, Rosemary.
He deserves some ice cream. He's been campaigning.
No. Oh, I also, that reminds me of the scene before that when Bill came up to them in the saloon and he was like, can we just not campaign tomorrow? No campaigning. And because Bill's like, no, I'm like tired of it. But then Bill ends up campaigning. Like, we promise no campaigning today. That was funny. Oh, back to the scene in the saloon also. When Nathan walked up to the table that Elizabeth is sitting at.
Yeah.
That was an interesting conversation too. I love how, in that conversation, Nathan was just able to walk up to the table and Elizabeth's just like, would you like to sit down? And they sit down and they just kind of smile at each other. And then Nathan's just like, it's really good to see you happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really, props to Nathan for being able to say that. I love that he was just able to acknowledge that. And that Elizabeth was able to say that she was so glad that they remained friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that they put that in there. I thought that was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just thought it was funny. Call back to season 7 when Lucas comes over and they do the great. Classic.
Yeah, that was good. And it's refreshing. Like, it's refreshing to be able to see these three together and not feel like tense. It's like a breath of fresh air to be like, okay, everything's calming down now.
Right. Still a little awkward, but they're getting there.
Awkward. It's going to be bumpy for a little bit, but yeah, they're getting there. They're grown adults and they're working their way through it.
Yeah. Speaking of that conversation with Nathan and Lucas outside the saloon, when they're both leaning against the post.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a theory, and this is probably a really dumb theory, but so Nathan notices, when he's in the saloon and Lucas approaches and Lucas has to, cancel on dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Nathan gets a front row seat to all of this. And then later on when they're outside and he says something about, you're more of a poet than a fighter or something like that.
Yeah.
But then they look up and he sees the balloon and Nathan says, that's got to be some view. Yeah. And then you can kind of see the wheels turning in Lucas's head, like, oh yeah, like, he gets the idea of getting, bringing Elizabeth, onto the balloon. And so I'm wondering if maybe he said it on purpose. If maybe he noticed in that moment at the saloon that, Elizabeth was a little like bummed, I guess, about the postponement of the dinner. And so maybe he was like, oh, this was him kind of like prompting an idea for Lucas to take her up on the balloon.
I didn't think about that.
No, we'll see.
I definitely noticed that, Nathan was the one who got those wheels turning in his head, but that's a great point. I did notice that, it's very much like Nathan, especially as a Mountie. He's trained to, read body language and to, really, be observant. And so I think it's very possible that Nathan could have, seen that. He definitely noticed that, like maybe Elizabeth was a little bit lonely. Like he's kind of like looking over there, like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so I definitely think it's very possible that very subtly he could have been kind of trying to nudge, Lucas to, do something for her.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good theory.
Speaking of the balloon again, do we want to talk a little bit about Elizabeth and Lucas's balloon ride in this episode?
Yeah, we've been kind of, we've known about this for a little while, obviously, that this balloon ride was coming. And I didn't think that it was going to be at the end of an episode.
I know.
Which was kind of surprising to me. But I love that they ended it on that. And of course, I loved the conversation about, that he's not going to bring in Jerome, which, yes, thank you, Lucas. That's great. And that, he says that her and little Jack are what's important now. And I love that. You guys know that I gushed over that.
Yes. That was really sweet.
I just love to see that growth between, like, with Lucas and how he's, he's finally kind of starting to, give up his, he's so, before he was, so much about the business, and now he's kind of, he's becoming a family man. Yeah. And I love to see that. I love to see that, he's putting his loved ones over, business. And I love to see that. So
yes. And now it's going to, it's the beginning of some, some things going on with him and little Jack, some babysitting duties and all sorts of things. That's going to be fun to see.
Oh, yes. I honestly thought that was going to be the end of the episode, though. I thought that we were going to end, with the balloon floating away.
Yeah.
And then we dropped a major cliffhanger.
I know. Which,
okay, can we just talk about that preview for next week?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We knew the hit and run was coming, but the preview for next week was like, are you serious?
Like, first of all, when does Nathan get a break? He doesn't. We got like a major cliffhanger with him in season 8, episode 1, and now we're a season later. This happened.
Yeah. I've seen theories. Do you guys think it's going to be fake when he asks Elizabeth who she is? Like, do you think he's joking around? Do you think it's going to be real? Because we know in a few weeks he's going to be fine. He's up on his horse, or he's up on Sergeant, trying to see if horses are faster than motorcycles.
Right.
So I'm hoping this is just so temporary. Like, it's just
right. I mean, I know it's very like typical sometimes, for people to get, amnesia for a short period of time and then, as they start to heal, their memory comes back. So it could be that. It could. Or it could be, obviously it could be him just teasing her.
Yeah. Which is a sick joke.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Who knows? I don't know. I
know.
I'm just ready for, the stuff to stop happening. I'm to get a break.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I am tired. I am so tired of the illness or injury storylines.
I know.
It seems like every season there's going to be one, and we know that they're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I don't know. Stuff like that makes me feel like maybe next season I'm just not going to watch any promos or any previews and just be completely shocked with what we see.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, season 3, it was Jack almost dying from pneumonia. Season 4, it was Cody almost dying from appendicitis.
Yep. Rosie was sick in, was it season 7?
Yeah.
She got chicken pox and she was really sick.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't Lee get hurt at some point too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got lost. Back to getting lost again.
Yeah, I think he got injured in season 3 too. Because we got that scene, remember, with Rosemary ringing the bell.
Classic. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
We have some would you rather questions to end off the episode. Mm-hmm. Kristen or Hannah, do y'all want to start?
Hannah,
or do you want me to start?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Hot air balloon ride or eating an ice cream cone on the ground in Hope Valley?
Eating an ice cream cone on the ground.
Definitely.
Totally. Okay. Work at the Valley Voice with Rosemary or work at Yost Pharmacy with May?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I feel like you can't go wrong with either one. I'm just going to say Valley Voice. I love writing and I love Rosemary. So
yeah.
I'm going to say working at the Valley Voice with Rosemary because in high school I was a yearbook editor. So.
Oh, perfect. You have experience.
I always enjoyed that class in high school.
Okay. Have scones and coffee with Elizabeth and Lucas or draw a mustache on Hickham's posters? I would say both. I'm going to do both.
Let's do the mustache to keep it humorous.
Yeah.
And then last, teach Nathan how to drive or be the next mayor of Hope Valley.
Teach Nathan how to drive.
Teach Nathan how to drive. Would you rather have honey vanilla or chocolate fudge ice cream?
Chocolate fudge.
I'll try the honey vanilla since they were all talking about how good the honey vanilla was, it seemed. So, yeah.
Would you rather only be able to travel by horse or car?
Car. Oh, yeah. I don't even know how to ride a horse.
I
would love to learn.
Yeah. I rode a horse once and my back definitely didn't like me later on because of it. It was fun though.
Would you rather be mayor of Hope Valley or the editor-in-chief of the Valley Voice?
Editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief. There's no way I would enjoy being the mayor.
No, not at all. Editor-in-chief.
No way. Would you rather ride in a hot air balloon or go on a zip line?
Oh my gosh. Can I say neither? Probably zip line. Probably zip line because it would be quicker.
Yeah.
And I think you get to wear a helmet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was trying to come up with like a good one that would be, that you can compare to something that's in Hope Valley, but I wasn't really coming up with anything. So I was like, zip line. Zip lines are fun, so definitely. Would you rather be in Faith's position after this episode or Fiona's?
Oh.
Both are
so tough.
I know. Both are in a pickle, so.
You know what? I think I'm going to pick Fiona.
Yeah.
Faith is going through a heartbreak from a relationship, and that's tough. So I think I'm going to pick Fiona.
Right. Well, if you think about it this way, would you rather be in Faith's position with May or in Fiona's position?
Oh.
I didn't even think of the breakup. That's a good point, though.
Gosh, that's hard. What about you, Nicole? What do you think?
I would probably pick Fiona.
Still
Really?
Fiona?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Fiona too. What would you pick?
Interesting. I was kind of thinking Faith, just because like I wouldn't really want to be in that position where I knew that I was responsible for bringing in, you know, somebody like that and having this whole thing explode with Henry. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big thing, and I think, you know, the situation with May is going to work itself out, obviously. And I mean, obviously, Faith's going to find out what's happening. And I mean, it's not really her fault, you know.
True.
So,
Hannah, you convinced me. I've changed my mind.
I changed my mind too. I changed my answer.
Thank you for making your case, Hannah.
You're welcome.
All right, Hearties, I think that wraps up our recap of season 9, episode 1. We will be back next week to recap episode 2, Out Like a Lamb. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you in our next episode. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.